In project management, we have a term called scope creep. This is when a project slowly loses its direction because nobody's willing to make a firm decision about what stays and what goes. But I believe in a lot of our relationships, we are living scope creep lives, not because of a lack of love, a lack of desire, or even intention, but we have surrendered our sovereign right to choose. My name is Timothy Wright Jr. I am a project management professional, a PMP, and I also am an MBA. And I've spent a lot of time in my career analyzing and looking at a lot of complex situations and systems. But I am also a licensed funeral director and embalmer, and I have read the end of project report many times, the lessons learned of life. And I think that one of the most dangerous things that we can do as sovereign individuals is surrender our right to choose and let the world choose for us. So today, we're going to strip away all of the noise, and we're going to look at relationship dynamics and measure the gap between where we are and where we choose to be. Welcome to The Measure. Today, we are going to discuss the only metric that matters, and that is the power to choose. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on the other side.
Do you realize that you have more power than you think? What's that power called? Choice. Let's talk about it. How do you measure up? Hello, my name is Timothy Wright Jr., and I'm here with another episode of, I just burped. Another episode of The Measure, where we ask the question, how do you measure up? Inspired by a question my mother would often ask growing up, by what measure do you measure that which you measure? So simply, how do you measure up? I wanted to talk this evening about the dating scene. By no means do I profess to be a dating guru. I'm probably not the best at it because I think there are better things I could do with my time in some capacities. Like there are goals, there are dreams, things I need to be working on, but I'm not going to be remiss and say that I just want to live this solo life. I think life in community with someone is a beautiful thing. However, I think that we are in an age right now where so much has become polarized, where we are almost at a gender war when it comes to certain things. But when you step back and you really see things for what they are, you realize that you have more power than you really realize, and that's your power of choice. When you scroll through social media, you have to be very careful at the stuff that you use to frame your philosophies, because a lot of times we can be in what's called an information bubble, where we are just fed the same content over and over and over again. And before you know it, it really shapes our outlook and our views on the world around us. But it's not really as cut and dry as many content creators would lead us to believe. Everything has nuance. Everything has variables that you need to consider. But one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is just how much the game is rigged against us as men. Yes, the game is rigged against us. This is commentary that you'll hear. And if you just listen on a surface level with a very basic ear, it would be easy to understand and agree with those things. Like, for instance, how many of you are in dating apps? If you've ever been on a dating app, you know that it just is such a waste of time. There are way more guys on the dating apps than there are women. So consequently, there are women that are barraged, just flooded with all kinds of messages and winks and likes and pokes or whatever you want to call them. Okay, well, in the market sense, the market is saturated with men, and the women are the commodity, if you will. They're scarce. So consequently, they're going to appear as though they have more value, more stock, more whatever you want to call it, because the market bears it. The demand is high. So when the demand is high and the supply is low, hey, you have something that's very valuable in that given market. Does it really reflect real life? No, not really. But with that being said, a lot of these companies will capitalize on that scarcity. what do? They'll make it very easy for the women to just swipe left, swipe right, and go through so many men. And then it almost creates a situation where psychologically, there's always somebody else in the barrel. There's always another guy out there. There's another bucket I can dig from. If I don't like this one, if he does something I don't like, or if he says something I don't like, or I don't like the shirt he's wearing, I can just swipe left and there will be another man to replace him. That is the mentality that is drilled into a lot of these women's minds, that the supply is plenteous because they can always swipe right or swipe left. Cool. Now, when it comes to the men, these same companies will, I think they're predacious. They will go after these men in this way. In order for you to stand out, you can pay more for a subscription, or you have to pay to be able to send a message, or you have to pay to be able to read a message, or you have to pay to be able to see a picture of the person if they have their picture, so you can't see it. They have all these paywalls that a man is going to have to break down. And then with that, let's say there are 1,000 men on this app and 700 of these men are trying to take this seriously and they want to pay. Well, now you can pay even more so that you can stand out among the men, and we'll make sure that your profile comes up first and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty janky. It seems as though that would be rigged against you. Not to mention that they'll send some, profiles your way that and I know they aren't what you're looking for. Not to count all the bots that are out there. There's so much with the dating apps that is clearly rigged against men. All right, well, let's fast forward to the dating scene, right? You actually, maybe you swipe right on somebody, they swipe right, you connect, or maybe you find somebody in the wild. Well, you want to go out on a date. Okay, well, you go out on a date and let's say you spend $50 or $100, whatever it is. And maybe, they're decent enough. Coffee is enough. Sometimes that's a rarity because some women are really led to think that you're supposed to spend $100, $200 on the first date. You don't even know them. But there are still those women with the mentality of the swipe right, swipe left. Okay, well, I can go on a few dates or whatever. And then I'll say, oh, well, I really like it, but thanks for the date. So it's almost like you're being used just going to date. So imagine if you find 2 or 3 of these women in the course of a month to go out on a date with. Those $30 or $40 dates add up, not to count the fuels, the all of these things that you got to orchestrate and make happen. Like the onus is on you to make it happen. It's crazy, right? And then it just starts to affect your pocket. Even if you have it, it's still affecting your pocket. Like every dollar counts. And let's step aside from the dating aspect and let's just talk about communication. The onus seems to be heavily on the man, because if you have gone on dating apps or just heard women talk just on social media, content feeds, whatever, it's like they want the man to be the initiator. Not only does he have to initiate, he has to captivate my attention, and he has to maintain that captivation, because if I get bored, I'm going to look for somebody else. It's so much on the man. He has to be the provider, the entertainer, the protector, all of the things, while she just kind of can sit there and just go along with it and check out and check in when she wants to. And that's supposed to be a fair shake. I don't know about that. Now, I'm not a drinker, but let's say you go out to bars or you go out to clubs. Well, what's the thing? Get the lady a drink. And then I've seen, some videos of women making it seem as though this man is supposed to get her a drink and her friend a drink because we're all out together. So if you want me, you got to show that you can prepare or provide for my friend too. Here's the point that I'm making. We could go on and on with scenarios, and there will be so many men making content to speak on the same scenarios. We've heard it all before. But here's the point. You don't have to engage. You don't have to engage. I don't ever have to worry about women running my pockets for drinks because I'm not going to go to the bar. I'm not going to go to the club. Now, I enjoy Latin dance. You might see me at some Latin dance socials, but I'm there to actually dance because I'm there to practice and like work on my skills and dance. I'm not really there to pick anybody up and like, ooh, she's hot. I'm there to dance. When it comes to the dating apps, don't get them. It's so simple. Don't get the dating apps. And if you get them, don't put any money into it. Because especially when you are on those dating apps where the women can send messages for free, but you have to pay in order to read their messages, don't engage. When it comes to dates and things of that nature, yo, I'll meet you up for a nice walk in the park, on the beach. Like, here's the point that I'm making. As men, you have way more power than you think. So to get on the internet, watch content, or create content talking about all the negative things that are surrounding the dating culture, and the women take advantage of this, the women take advantage of that. They're just selfish. They're just looking out for themselves. Only if you allow it. I had a friend, co-worker, if you will, that I genuinely cared about. And I still do. But for whatever reason, we had some kind of falling out. And consequently, I realized that I was allowing certain treatment to come my way. I shouldn't accept anything that I wouldn't give, but I was doing it. And when you accept something that you wouldn't give, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself. That's your fault. So if I put myself in a predicament where I can be taken advantage of, if I put myself in a predicament where somebody thinks it's right to ask of me while not giving, of themselves, and I go along with it, there's no need to blame anybody but myself. I'm letting you know right now in 2026, if you're still complaining about how unfair dating apps are, if you're still complaining about how women just want to use you for dates and use you for drinks and use you for foodie calls to take them out to restaurants, if you're still complaining about those things, I'm here to tell you the women aren't the problem. It's us. Stop accepting what you wouldn't give. You have the power of choice. And it's not even a matter of shaming women for doing whatever they do. It just doesn't have to bother you. You should be so laser focused on whatever it is that's your mission, your life's work, that it shouldn't even matter what they have to say or what they have to think. I could have 10 million women call me broke or dusty or whatever. Okay. And like, here's something about me that you'll hear several times on this channel. I'm a funeral director. Matter of fact, I have on my overcoat because I had a funeral today. I just took off my shirt because I was like relaxing, but I still have on my suit pants. But yeah, I'm a funeral director. And I know that sometime between now and later, we're going to find ourselves buried in the dirt or cremated or picked apart by animals or whatever the case may be. We're going to die. So since I know that eventually my life on this side is not going to be here, why am I going to waste my time chasing the validation and acceptance of people versus chasing the actualization and acceptance from myself? And here's the thing, when you carry yourself in such a manner where you are purpose driven and not people driven, when you carry yourself in a manner that you're not looking for the validation of a woman, but the actualization of your goals, your dreams, your desires, you won't even have time to focus on what they're doing. So let the other men run and chase after women all day long and get burned up and, get disappointed or whatever the case may be. I'm chasing passion. I'm chasing purpose. And when I am on hot pursuit of passion and purpose, that other stuff is just background noise. It's not even background noise because I'm not even in the vicinity of it. Like I said, you don't have to worry about anybody taking advantage on you on a dating app if you're not there. You don't have to worry about, oh, she just wants drinks. Don't be there. It's that simple. Do something that actually brings value, your value to the forefront. Something that if you were not present, the world would know. That's what you should be doing. And the thing about it is, when you move in that manner, you're not really going to attract some of the riffraff. As a matter of fact, it should be that it might be a little intimidating to get to you. Women might think twice about how do I approach him, because he really seems to be about his business. Like, there are people that think I'm scary for whatever reason. I don't think so. But I'm a serious individual when it comes time to be serious. And I take relationships very seriously because I have so much that I need to be doing. If I stop to consider you and take time with you, that's time that I'm taking away from my passion. So you really have to be someone special. Really have to be worth it. And it's not just in beauty and stuff like that. You have to actually show me in some way that you are a valuable individual that can also bring value to me in my life. We don't even stop to really think about our worth and what we have to offer to the world because we are so wrapped up in trying to make ourselves somebody by being connected to somebody. I know there are a whole lot of people that feel that they are a man, if you will, unless they got a woman on their arm or somebody to show off or somebody to go to an all-white party with, or, oh, yeah, you know how we do. Yeah, like so. I'm going to be happy whether there's somebody on my arm or not, because I'm striving for things that are bigger than myself. I'm striving to create value and meaning in the world with my own efforts, with the work of my hands, so that when I'm no longer here, it would be evident that I once was. That's bigger than just having somebody on your arm to poke into. Like, it's more to life than that. But if you don't have any vision, if you don't have any purpose, if you don't have any mission, then you can fall for the rat race, go for it. But I'm just not there anymore.
I hope you enjoyed our first episode of The Measure, but this was just part 1. Be sure to check out part 2. It'll be coming to you very soon. We're going to dive a little deeper and talking about how we need to manage our expectations. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Measure, where we strive to live our lives with objectivity, maturity, and integrity. Let's connect. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, and LinkedIn at The TWJ, and on TikTok at The TWJ Official. See you on the next one.